Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Oldham County Fiscal Court. I'm David Vogel, Judge Executive. Happy to have you here today. This is the 19th day of November 2019. If you have a cell phone with you, please turn it to off or vibrate. If you're able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, my friend.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Magistrate Likens.
Here.
Magistrate Tice.
Here.
Magistrate Harrison. Magistrate Greenwell.
Here.
Magistrate Hounds.
Here.
Magistrate Hawkins. Here. Magistrate Dye.
Here.
Magistrate Logsdon. Here. Judge Vogel.
Here. Having all members of the Fiscal Court present, this meeting is now in session. Your motion to accept the agenda. Second. Are there any additions or deletions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Judge, I'm sorry, I do think we have one thing to add. We were going we declared surplus the vehicle, but it needs to be donated to, we need to formally do the donation to the Ballardsville Fire Department. So can we add that to,
All
where do
right,
you want to put that?
let's put it under, we'll make it number 3 under committee recommendations. Okay. Donation to Ballardsville. Are there any additions, any other additions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now I'll ask our clerk, Sheila Fair, to read the minutes from our last 2 meetings, our regularly scheduled meeting on November 5th and our special meeting on November 8th.
November 5th, 2019, the Oldham County Fiscal Court convened at a regular meeting at 2 p.m. with Judge Executive David Vogel, County Attorney John Carter, and the following magistrates in attendance: Brent Likens, Wayne Tice, Albert Harrison, Steve Greenwell, Chris Hound, Stephanie Hawkins, Bob Dye, and Michael Logsdon. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell, seconded by Magistrate Likens to approve the agenda adding bid opening for the Aquatic Center repairs, an interlocal agreement between OCFC, MSD, and OSEA, and removing second reading public hearing for Budget Amendment Number 1. The new date for the Budget Amendment public hearing is November 19th at 2. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell, seconded by Magistrate Likens to approve the minutes from October 15. Motion carried 8-0-1. Judge Vogel abstained. Public comment. Russ Morris with LaGrange Farmers Market thanked Fiscal Court for allowing them to use the courthouse lawn for his annual farmers market and is looking forward to next year. Bid openings for the paving at Quality Place. The following sealed bids for the paving project on Quality Place were open and read aloud for the record. ADC Paving, $57,023.61. Hall Contracting, $62,774.95. Libs Paving, $64,499. Louisville Paving, $54,628.10. Matt Construction, $55,118.91. Riverside Paving, $82,863.97. Wingham Paving, $64,715.06. Bid openings for the Aquatic Center repairs were open and read aloud for the record. Phoenix Pools, $41,344. County Administration payables. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds, seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to approve the payables. Motion carried unanimously. Surplus property. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Hounds to declare surplus the list of property with the intent to sell at public auction and donate one item to a local fire department. Motion carried unanimously. Community business. Interlocal agreement between OCFC, OSEA, and MSD for wastewater collection and treatment services. Stan Clark, Oldham County's CFO, spoke to the court about a working document titled Interlocal Agreement between Oldham County Fiscal Court, Oldham County Environmental Authority, and Metropolitan Sewer District for wastewater collection and treatment services. The ILA being discussed was not submitted to the fiscal court clerk. Judge Vogel announced a special fiscal court meeting will be held Friday, November 8th at 12. given Tony Parrott with MSD is available to present at that time. Judge Vogel is to confirm with Mr. Parrott. Contract agreements and resolutions, bid award, Kentucky 1793 sidewalk project. Motion made by Magistrate Likens, seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to award the Kentucky 1793 sidewalk project to Louisville Paving for $191,000 and authorize the judge executive to sign the contract agreement as submitted. Motion carried 8-1. Magistrate Tice voted no. Public comment, none. Announcements. Judge Vogel and Fiscal Court magistrates encourage those who have not voted yet today to get out and vote. Polls are open until 6. Magistrate Harrison stressed how important it is to participate in the upcoming 2020 census. Military observance days, November 10th is Marine Corps birthday and day, and November 11th is Veterans Day. Judge Vogel announced the drug take-back event, October 26th, was very successful, bringing in a lot, the third largest collection amount since starting this program, of expired or unused prescription drugs. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Hounds to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried unanimously, and the meeting was adjourned at 3:45 p.m.
You've heard the reading of our minutes from November 5th. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Any corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
November 8th, 2019. The Oldham County Fiscal Court convened at a special meeting at 12 p.m. with Judge Executive David Vogel, County Attorney John Carter, and the following magistrates in attendance: Brent Likens, Wayne Tice, Albert Harrison, Steve Greenwell, Chris Hound, Stephanie Hawkins, Bob Dye, and Michael Logsdon. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Likens to approve the agenda. Motion carried unanimously. Public comment. Larry Kaiser, 3000 Maple Leaf Drive, LaGrange, spoke to the court regarding his concerns with the proposed interlocal agreement with MSD Fiscal Court in Osceola. Contract agreements and resolutions. Interlocal agreement between MSD, Oldham County Fiscal Court, and Oldham County Environmental Authority. Judge Vogel introduced representatives from Metropolitan Sewer District and provided an overview of the proposed interlocal agreement relating to MSD purchasing Osceola's wastewater collection and treatment system. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to put the subject on the floor and discuss the proposed interlocal agreement between Oldham County Fiscal Court, MSD, and Osceola. Motion carried unanimously. Discussion followed. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Hawkins to end debate and call for question. Motion carried unanimously on a voice roll call. Motion made by Magistrate Harrison and seconded by Magistrate Dye to approve the revised interlocal agreement between Oldham County Fiscal Court, MSD, and Osceola relating to MSD purchasing Osceola's wastewater collection and treatment system as submitted. Motion carried 7-2 on a voice roll call. Judge Vogel and the following magistrates voted yes: Likens, Tice, Harrison, Hounds, Dye, and Logsdon. Magistrates Greenwell and Hawkins voted no. Osceola Board appointments, none. Public comment, none. Announcements, and none. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Hounds to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried unanimously, and the meeting was adjourned at 1:10 p.m.
You've heard the reading of our minutes from November 8th. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Time now for public comment. That's the time during our meeting when anybody from the community who would like to address the fiscal court about a particular subject is able to do so. We allow up to 4 minutes. And is there anyone here who would like to address the fiscal court? Seeing no one, I'm going to close the public comment and go on to the first item on the agenda today, and that has to do with the payables. And is there a motion to pay the bills?
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
Judge, I'd like to remove one item from the payables. It's under Cassidy Insurance. It's on page 3, I thought. Yep.
What page?
One to the corner. One of the people that we are paying the bond for is no longer a deputy coroner, needs to be removed from the payables. It's on page 3 under Cassidy Insurance. Whitehead, I'm sorry, Michael Whitehead.
All right. It's $101.80 to come off the payables.
It's on this document.
Is there a second on that motion?
There was.
to remove that payable?
Page 5, halfway down, general electric parts, or general parts, I'm sorry, not General Electric, General Parts LLC. Want to take the temperature probe off for $649. That should be, again, a warranty item with the equipment that's been put in the detention center. So we clear that up.
One is that?
I'm sorry?
Page 5?
Yes, sir, page 5. 5 from the top.
Right in the center.
General parts?
Yeah.
All right.
$649, yes, sir.
$46.
$646.19.
All right, are you sure that's a warranty item?
Don't know, but it's on the cooking equipment. Now, the cooking equipment's brand new.
Judge, I think I remember that question being posed at the last meeting.
For a different part.
All right. Should we check with the jailer before we take that action on something?
Well,
It come from the jail, Melissa?
I don't know. Just seemed like a weird way to do it.
The repair in question was made to cooking equipment at the jail. But I have no knowledge that it's a warranty claim.
All right, well, we could go ahead and approve it, but she could investigate it, and we can hold it off if it is a warranty claim.
okay, I just want to make sure if it's under warranty, I want to make sure the county gets their
Right,
coverage.
right. I agree. All right, any other questions about anything on the bills here? And we are going to remove the deputy coroner bond. Okay. All right, we've had a motion and second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. So Melissa will confirm the status of that temperature control device at the jail before we pay that. Okay. Thank you. The next item on the agenda under community business is the second reading of a public hearing regarding a budget amendment for the fiscal year 1920 budget. Because it's a public hearing, after Melissa makes her presentation, I will ask for comments in favor or in opposition of the budget amendment because it is a public hearing. So Melissa, go ahead.
This is ordinance KOC 19-220-14. It's an ordinance relating to the annual budget and amending it. We have used reserve funds from the federal drug forfeiture account to purchase law enforcement equipment in the amount of $19,538.50. We did not budget for it, so therefore we need this amendment to move the money from reserves into the operating expense line.
All right. So is there, I'll open the public hearing now. Is there anyone here who is here to speak in favor or in opposition of this change to our budget? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing and ask the court for a motion to approve this budget change.
Judge, I'm going to make a motion to approve for your signature ordinance KOC 19-220-14.
Is there any discussion about it? I believe we purchased new pistols for the police department with this money. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda under contract agreements and resolutions is a lease renewal for the State HVAC Inspector's Office on the first floor. They maintain an office here. We don't charge them much. I think it's, what, $700 some dollars a year? Is that right? 768, right. It's a small little space in the Planning and Zoning office, and they use it as needed. So this is the same lease we've had with them for several years.
Motion to approve the lease renewal agreement with HVAC.
Any discussion on this?
Judge,
Yes, sir.
since, aren't we doing our own inspections now, and is this something that he's using our space for other counties? Or is he still doing inspections in our county?
They're still doing HVA inspections in Oldham County. The state is, we're attempting to have our own inspector do that. Our inspector has been licensed up, if you want to use that term. We're attempting to have him approved by the state people. In fact, he's going to be there Tuesday, meeting him with him in Frankfurt about it. Even if he is approved, they're going to maintain control over certain really large buildings, school system, hotel, things that
Okay.
they want their inspector to do at this point. But
Okay.
we are trying to have our own individual supplant the state person.
Okay.
The state is shorthanded. They're constantly late. I think they have gotten better, but it takes a long time. Sometimes we'd like to have these inspections done in a week or less. Sometimes they take a month to get them done. So it would be beneficial to us to have our own person, but even when we have our own person, they have still asked for space in our building to let any of their people store things here, I guess, would be the main thing. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item is Demand Star Service Agreement, and Melissa can review that.
Demand Star is a clearinghouse, if you will, of bidding information and documents. We would send our information to them, and they send it out really across the country to any vendor who has subscribed to their services. It's no cost to the county. Demand Star is recommended by the Office of Procurement in Frankfurt. So I'm asking you to approve this, let the judge sign it, so we can send our bids there.
So moved.
Moved and seconded that we approve an agreement with Demand Star Service, a no-cost agreement to assist us with bidding projects. Are there any questions or discussion? Magistrate Hounds.
We used this service before, though, right? Or is this the first go-around?
We have not used Demand Star.
Okay. But they were picking up our bids, though, because like with the generator bid, we got a quote from California. Okay.
Possibly. I don't know that it was Demand Star that did that, but.
Okay,
but
true.
There are other clearinghouses that pick up our bids simply from our website. In this case, when I post to the website, I would also be sending the same posting to Demand Star,
Okay.
not waiting for somebody to pick it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Magistrate Hawkins.
Melissa, is the only information Demand Star would get from you would be the same information posted, nothing in addition?
Correct. It would just be the public announcement. That's the same as what's on our website. Yes.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. The next item has to do with repairs at our pool, and that is a bid award contract. Tim Curtis will review this item with the court.
How are you, magistrates? At our last fiscal court meeting, we opened the bid that we received to do off-season pool repairs. There was one bid received from Phoenix Pools LLC for $41,344. We've looked the bid over and everything seems to be in order, so I'd just like to ask the court to approve the bid so we can get started with these repairs to the Aquatic Center.
I'd like to make a motion that we award the bid contract to Phoenix Pools for aquatic center repairs, please.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded that we award the contract to Phoenix Pools here. We've got a number of items to be fixed. Remove pumps from the system, sandblast pumps, echo finish pumps, install new seals in the pumps, new impellers, reinstall the pumps. There's quite a bit of pump work here, obviously. Sandblast the diving board, epoxy coat the diving board, just general maintenance things. Operating a community pool is not an inexpensive proposition, and we certainly want the pool to be up to date as much as possible and that to be safe for all users. Magistrate Greenwell.
Thank you, Judge. We had maintenance budgeted for this or somewhere in the line, or?
We do have maintenance budgeted for the pool, and it's an ongoing process. This is priorities that we identified this year to be done in the off-season and sent it out for bids, and we've only got one bid, but that's the one we've got. So this really does need to be taken care of.
Magistrate Hounds.
Have we got all the leaks that were fixed in the prior years? Have new ones come up, or where are we on the leaks of the pool?
You might notice in this bid package that one of the things there was to pressure test the main drain in the lap pool and add stop leak to the main drain. This past season, we had a really good year for non-leaks. And, the thing is, when you repair a leak on a pool like this, it's always possible that something new could come up. But we had a great year this year for not having leaks. And so I feel like we've got a little handle on that. But the main thing is right now, our pumps are getting age on them, and we got to start upgrading the pumps a few at a time every year. And so that's one of the things that was in the thing.
Magistrate Dye.
I don't know if you'll have the answer, or Melissa. I don't remember seeing this last me, I don't remember seeing the page about, were these folks vetted through the Secretary of State? All right, that's all I have.
Seeing no other
Judge.
questions,
I'm sorry.
oops, we do have one. Go ahead.
It looks like they want 50% now and 50% upon completion. Is that usual and customary?
That's how they've requested to do it. I'm not sure if we can do it that way or not.
And I'm the person that said shut off your phone. Can't talk with you now. Bye-bye.
If we can't do it that way, because that's the way they've requested, then we'll just have to pay when it's
I
work
don't
is
think we
complete.
can. I don't think we've done that in the past. I think we're paying on completion, but.
Only thing
Melissa's
similar
shaking.
would be the fireworks, where we had split that between them. They would purchase the fireworks ahead of time, then we would pay the remainder on the night of the shooting, the fireworks. I'm not sure about this particular situation, though. If not, I'll tell them that's the way we gotta do it.
You do have a point about the fireworks, though.
We have done it that way with fireworks.
What this says is 50% due to secure the start date. So that is like a prepayment, and we are not supposed to prepay.
All I can tell them is we can't do that. We'll
What
pay
we
upon
can, what we
completion.
can do is pay for things, pumps or something, and then pay once they're installed.
Tim, I think you could call them up and say, I got good news and bad news, I think. You know.
Right. Okay.
Well, we've dealt with this individual before, so I
We
don't
have.
think there's any question that we're good for it.
And do we buy the equipment and so we don't pay sales tax, or how does that work? Because, I mean, obviously the pumps, they're not cheap. I can't imagine they're being cheap.
This is just like any other contract job, Chris. Like you pay somebody to repair an air conditioner down at the community center, and they buy the parts. I'm not sure how this is different from that.
Well, I was just thinking of the dollar figure. If the pumps were expensive, I mean, we could save the.
Making sure it's tax exempt.
Yeah.
I'll verify that with them.
Judge,
Magistrate Logsdon.
Repairing-
do we need to extend the date of completion because it's, 69 or 30 to 90 days? Since we're starting in the middle of winter now, so you can't epoxy stuff in 30 degrees weather. So do we need to extend this through March or April? Because some of this work's not going to be able to be done now.
Well, he submitted the bid with with the 30 to 90 days on there.
February's date. He put the February in there.
Right. I guess we could cross that bridge if he says that for some reason it can't be done within that scope, but right, he's the one who submitted it.
He knew the timeline when he submitted the bid, right? I mean,
It seems
but
like
I think
be the case.
Manager Logson's right. It's got,
Is this something that he could take to his shop and paint it and bring it back?
I think some of that stuff can be done in the shop, correct?
Well, some of this has to do with the pool.
Right, repairing plaster cracks and some things like that that are outside. Cut and chip around areas in plaster to be repaired, plaster patches.
although we don't have, the last week was an abnormally cold 1st of November. I mean, it's 50 degrees today or tomorrow, but you're right. It could get to the point where we can't put the epoxy down. I think we just cross that bridge when we get to it.
I think so too. I think obviously our goal is to have this work completed prior to the pool opening.
Yeah. Even if he gets it done in April, we're still good.
True.
But Judge,
Yes, sir.
what they would probably do is set up a heated area, like with plastic. I believe our resident design and build engineer down there probably has done that. When you run into cold weather, you have to make up some kind of a lean-to with plastic and put a heater in it. That's probably what he would do, same thing. It's maybe an artificial heated area.
I'll make sure I point that out to him though, that he's got this time frame on there, and that it can be completed within that time frame.
Right. All right, we'll work with that. I mean, I don't think that's a impediment. We had one bidder. Let's let him try to do the job, so. All right, any other discussion? Magistrate Tice.
I think he's done ongoing work throughout the season. The summer, he's worked for the pool, and he's reliable. He's done a good job. He's worked for us more than 1 year, several years. Not a big business. I think he'll work with us, whatever our requirements are as far as pay goes. But what I wouldn't want us to see is delay any more on our part. We need to give him the go-ahead, work out the payment details, and I don't think we'll have a problem. I'd be surprised if we did.
All right. All right, seeing no further comments, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item F on the agenda is the Kentucky Emergency Management Grant. Jerry Nart will review that with the court.
Good afternoon, may it please the court. What you have in front of you are two documents, if you will, a single-page document and then the contract bearing the number at the top, SC 095-2-000-000-513. This is the annual contract from the Kentucky Emergency Management for the existing, or for this fiscal year, federal fiscal year. We historically get it a month after the federal fiscal year has started, at no fault of the state. It's a federal government at work. But this is the same contract you see every year, which provides us, you'll see a $3 million mark down there. Boy, do I wish that was all coming to Oldham County, but it is not. That is the portion that we get, that the state gets from the federal government, from FEMA, that is divided up among the 120 counties. Our portion for this year will be $29,918.39, which is the same amount as last year. The year before this is the same amount. The year before that, it was $2,000 less. The year before that, it was $2,000 less of that. The reason it did not go up this time is because prior to this year, only 119 counties were participating in the program. The 120th came back into the fold. And so therefore, the same amount of money was got from the federal government, and they had to divide it up a little bit more. And so at least we didn't go down. Some counties went down. I don't have the formula, but this is based on population. And therefore, the state Kentucky Emergency Management Director is the one who authorizes the allotment. The non-supplanting form, the single page, is simply the page that says, we're not using this to replace monies that were already going to be spent for the Oldham County Office of Emergency Management. This $29,000 is to supplement or to provide the additional cost for us to participate in the system. So what I'm asking for is approval from the judge to be, for the judge to be able to sign both documents in participating with the state. You see the whole contract, because this is the same one that goes out to all 120 counties. We have the back page signed by the judge, and then we forward that original signature page to the Kentucky Emergency Management Department.
Judge,
Magistrate Harrison.
I would like to make that motion, and I will make that motion, that we approve it.
Second.
Moved and seconded that I sign the Kentucky Emergency Management Contract for the federal year upcoming. Any discussion on that?
Yes, sir.
Magistrate Greenwell.
Thank you, Judge. Jerry, you noticed that, or you noted that one county came back into the fold.
Yes.
But I know of two counties that operate together as one entity. Lincoln and Garrett, I believe, have combined their EMA.
Dispatch, they combine their dispatch.
Okay, so we're not talking about the,
No.
okay. Okay, that's what I was bringing up.
And counties, even though they may not participate in this allocation of funds, there are still certain laws, both state and federal, that they have to comply with, that we all do. But they just didn't, they don't supply Ms. Horn and I have to submit a monthly form every month to get that much months back. They just don't participate in that, but they still have to do requirements for exercises and trainings and stuff like that.
Magistrate Harrison.
Yes, thank you, Judge. Jerry, you said that this is, you did not know the formula, but you do know it's based on population,
Yes,
which is a great segue into the 2020 census.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to keep hammering that all the
Yes.
way through, but
Yes, sir.
we need to get the numbers up. I think we're low in just about every category.
well, we are the 12th most populous county in the state, which puts us in the top 10%. And I think the census will show us that we may move up even more. So you're absolutely correct, sir.
Yeah, we can do better than 79% reporting. I don't know how they come up with that figure. Because if that is an accurate figure, they already know how many people are here.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
For clarity's sake, for the record, there, you have the two forms that you're voting on to sign both of those forms.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item is item G. That is the resolution for the Kentucky Division of Water non-point source grant. And Becca Truman is here, and also Jim Silliman. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. So I'll kind of quickly go over how the Division of Water funding works. We are in the proposal stage, so the first step is we have to write a proposal. It's a one-page synopsis of what we expect to do. If we get approved for our proposal, we get approved to write an application, then we submit an application. If our application is approved, then we proceed to any modifications that are necessary, and then going into having a contract between, in this case, Oldham County Fiscal Court and the Division of Water. So the current grant that we are working under that's funding the current activities is the federal fiscal year 2016. This year we applied for the FFY 2019. We submitted that in June, and we were approved for that grant, which is great. Not everybody that submitted was approved, but we did have some cuts. So we were funded at about 58% of what we asked for, and so we've made some modifications that we've talked with some of you about. So the federal fiscal year 2020 proposal has been come out for us to apply for, and that's what you have in front of you. So this is the proposal stage. This is due beginning of December. If we're approved, an application will be due beginning of February. And so because we had some cuts in the 2019 grant, we have kind of rolled over some of those planned activities into the 2020. In addition, what you'll see is we're looking at doing some stream enhancement projects. As part of the current grant, we had a conceptual design done on several stream reaches, and so that number, that's about $500,000, is the total maximum to implement all of those projects that we've had assessed. So you'll see we've got a total budget of about $1 million. Now, the federal request, that's the actual funds that we're getting to fund our program, to fund my position, to fund the different activities. That match request has to be 40% of that federal. So that's not direct dollars, that's coming from the county, that's not coming from any particular place. That is accounted for in other ways. So we account that for that match in time people spend, in attendance, in room space, in our PSAs. We get so many dollars per minutes of the PSAs that get put up, and in lots of different ways we get to account for that 40%. So the federal is the amount that's coming from the state, and then that match is made up for in different ways. Now, I'll also mention in this proposal that we're kind of shooting for the moon here. We don't expect to get funded the maximum that we're putting here, so that's why we put everything that we have potential work on the ground to do. So this is sort of our dream of what we'd expect, but we'll just see what happens when we come back. So we're asking for this resolution to have fiscal court approve us to submit this proposal. If we are approved for an application, to then submit that application, and then if that application is approved, to then be able to enter into a contract. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Right, so we really don't know, when the court, we put down here $1,091,000 that we don't expect to get that, but we all know that you definitely won't ever get as much as you don't ask for.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going ahead and asking for the maximum, but we likely won't get it. Even if we do get it, we're not obligated to accept all aspects of the program. We can cut it back to a manageable amount, and the manageable amount would still be paid for through participation in different things that we count as money but actually aren't money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we figured out that we would figure out the match based on what we need to get that federal amount that we're going to accept if we are accepted.
All right. Is there a motion to approve, Magistrate Hawkins?
I'd like to make the motion to authorize our Curry's Watershed Coordinator on behalf of Fiscal Court to apply for the Kentucky Division of Water 2020 Non-Point Source Implementation Grant, which would continue this, to support funding for the Curry's Fork Watershed Program, please.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on this item, on applying for this grant?
Like an awful lot of steps to get.
Right. I
Money.
hope
I
you're
mean,
not
you
going to
gotta-
come back and ask us to approve every step here, are you?
That's the idea, that we will have this resolution and then we'll be all set in terms of your approval, but happy to have discussions along the way and make sure everybody's on board.
Right, we need to, we'll talk about the interim, we won't have to have
Yeah.
have this on the agenda 4 or 5 times before we get to the final
Yeah.
yes or no.
And a lot of the coordinator items come through the Utilities and Environmental Committee. So we do get to hear the details if anybody wants them.
Measure die?
I believe this is federal money.
I'm sorry,
It's federal money where it starts.
the federal dollars?
Yeah, federal dollars where it starts from the federal money goes to the division award and then they divvy it out.
Yep, so it's an allocation from the EPA through the Clean Water Act, and they get their allocation beginning of the fiscal year. So they're going to get this allocation for FFY 2020 beginning of next October.
That answers your question, Judge. It's federal money. That's why it takes forever to get these things done.
It's a process.
Is there any other comment? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, could I ask Rebecca something like? Could you give us a quick overview of the program that you had last week that I missed? I don't need it, I want to talk to you about that, but we always hear about these programs being promoted and then we never know what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jay kindly recorded it, so I'm going to have a recording that I can send out to everybody to watch it. But we had Dr. Robert Hawley, who is the principal scientist for Sustainable Streams, come in, and he provided an overview of stormwater management. He included a kind of a history of how stormwater is managed and some of the consequences, unintended consequences usually of that, and then talking about some solutions in designs that can be done to help mitigate those impacts. But I'll send out that.
Was it well attended? I'm embarrassed to ask that, but I'll ask it anyway.
Yeah, it was really great. We had almost 30 people attend from all around different sectors, and then from different companies that work with the engineering department as well.
And you plan to have other programs similar to that?
I hope so. Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good, thank you, Becca. Committee recommendations and reports now. Item H, Road Committee. We have some erosion control bonds to release. Manager Greenwell?
Thank you, Judge. These are items that we discussed in the last road committee that we had the previous meeting 2 weeks ago, and so Jim is here to walk us through all these bond releases.
Good afternoon. If you can bear with me, there are a handful of them, making progress. No, we should do them individually, procedurally. So I'll kind of summarize the first section, the erosion control bond releases. As normal, we've got one commercial site, Christian Brothers, and then 3 subdivision sections that have met the requirements to pass the erosion control. Their requirements have been met by the developers or the builders, and so we're spoke to the road committee and have recommended release of those bonds. What I'd like to do is go through individually and request the motions for each. So the first would be a motion for Christian Brothers.
Judge,
All right.
and Crestwood.
I think previously we have approved them as a group.
Well,
Last time we had several of these, because the same question came up that Michael just raised.
We did, and afterwards, it was noted, we discussed it, and I think for retrieving records, it's better to have them individually. So if someone wants to just look through minutes for Christian Brothers alone, if it's lumped in with others, I think it's harder to retrieve. So that was the reason for coming back and trying to do them individually.
all right. All right, is there a motion to release this bond for Christian Brothers Automotive, $136,220.50?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion, you want to release the bond for Grand Oaks LLC. It's for $19,000.
Section 2, yes, for
Section 2 here.
$19,000.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The next one is to remove the bond, $64,240 from Deerfield, Section 1. That's a residential section. Is there a motion in that regard?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Next one is the High Grove, Section 3, $8,400.
So moved.
Second.
Pardon?
You got 84?
Says 84 here.
Okay. There are a few.
Any discussion on that? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Next one is release of the bond and acceptance of roads into the Oldham County Road Maintenance System for the reserves of Deerfield, Section 1. That
This is
would
the
be
release of the performance bond in
Yeah.
the amount of $37,000.
bonds 37, and we're going to take in the roads on the same motion.
No, we need to do those separately also.
Yes.
All right? It's all on the same piece of paper here. All right, release of the bond, 37,000.
I got confused there. I thought it says bond release and acceptance. You're saying you want separate motions for those?
Our the recommendation letter that we submitted to road committee and is now at fiscal court, we included them in the same letter, but they should be separate motions.
All right, let's take the
Do we
third.
need to revise the agenda to do that? I mean,
No, I don't think so. I mean, let's release the bond, 37,000.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, any discussion on that? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Now, you're making a recommendation to accept these roads into the road maintenance system.
That's correct.
And
So it's the reserves of Deerfields Boulevard, Deerfields Trace, Ridge Court, and Tip Top Court for a total length of 2,407 feet.
Manager Greenwell, does the road committee have a recommendation on that?
We do, Judge. We met and discussed this and also voted to accept these roads into the county road system.
All right.
And I'll make that motion.
All right, point of order here, Mr. Combs. Magistrate Harrison has raised a question on whether or not these can be taken in on the same piece of paper.
I'd recommend it doing it the way it's been suggested. Each one be approved separately,
Can't hear you.
and, well, I don't speak very loud.
Oh, we got microphones.
It's my practice when you have two different issues before the court, that you take them each one at a time and vote on each one. And in this case, the release of the performance bond is separate from the acceptance into the road system. So they should be treated separately and ruled on separately with separate motions.
You see no issue having both these items on the same piece of paper here?
You can have it on the same piece of paper. We do it all the time in planning, in our other Board of Adjustments and.
Want to be clear that we're following the proper procedure.
May I also clarify the minutes, for the minutes, the length of each
You
road
can't
section?
go wrong by doing it that way.
Okay.
For the
All right.
Reserve the Deerfield Boulevard to be 650 feet, Deerfield Trace, 1,131 feet, Ridge Court, 252 feet, and Tip Top Court, 374 feet, and that's for the total of 2,407 feet.
All right, and the reserves of Deerfield Boulevard is, the right-of-way is 20 feet wider because of what reason? Lanes?
There is, I believe, an island between the two. So it's a little, it's different geometry.
All right, do we have a motion on that? A second? All right, any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll have the recommendation for release of High Grove Section 3. And we also have a recommendation here to bring a road in, but we'll do the bond release first.
So moved.
Second.
It's $7,400. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? All right, now your
I'm sorry. Can I clarify on that again for the minutes? We're releasing the performance bond for Windsor Way in High Grove Section 3.
Right. All right, but you're also asking that Windsor Way be brought into the county road system. Magistrate Greenwell?
Judge, this also came before Road Committee and was approved.
All right. Your motion to accept this road into the system?
So move.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right.
Appreciate your patience. Just want to make sure we weren't back again doing this a second time or a
All
third
right.
time.
Do it right the first time, you don't
right.
have to do it again.
Thank you.
All right, let's go on now. That we had the third item added under committee reports and recommendations, and that's a donation to the Ballardsville Fire Department. Magistrate Hounds.
Yes, Judge, at the last fiscal court meeting, we declared surplus the police SRT vehicle, and we'd like to transfer that vehicle to the Ballardsville Fire Department to be used for the Oldham County Fire Marshal's Office.
I'll make that motion.
Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Judge, point of order. Is there a county fire marshal, or
No,
is it
sir.
individual departments?
There's a countywide fire marshal's office. It has a leader, for lack of a better term, but it's, there's not a county fire marshal. Does that make sense? I mean, there's not, the county doesn't have one.
Okay.
The fiscal court, or it's not like a police.
No, I knew it wasn't us, but, okay.
Under personnel actions, Ms. Schaaf, Human Resources Manager.
Good afternoon. Before you all, we have two actions today. We have a new hire for dispatch, Tara Phillips. She's coming in as a telecommunicator 1 at $15.38 an hour, and that will be effective December 2nd.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is this somebody that's going to be coming in as an untrained dispatcher, and then has a possibility after training, moving up
Exactly.
in the salary?
Right. The dispatchers come in at 1538, and now there's a step plan as they complete the individual steps in training. Once she finishes her 5 weeks in Richmond and gets her certification, she'll be on the floor for a while, then she'll go up to telecommunicator 2. And then each year that she has experience, she will get bumped up in a step plan up to 5 years.
All right, and what is the dollar amount on the bumps?
I don't have that in front of me, but we do have it. It's, I think it's like 5 or 6% in between steps. So,
Because I've talked with people who have held this job, and that to me is way low for that, for what they have to put up with and what they have to listen to. I got all the sympathy and respect for them in the world, because they get it all. I don't think they ever get a call from a happy person.
Yes, they do.
Will you call them once a month?
yeah, it was looked at last year, because before they didn't have any. They would just get the 2% across the board, but now we're trying to hold on to them, and because there's not a lot of movement. So they do get step raises, just like the police do
Good.
for their training.
We've done pretty well with the current group. We hired three. And I mean, they're still here and doing a good job. Yeah, knock on wood.
All right, we've had a motion and a second to hire this lady. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
The second item is a retirement at the police department. Matt Cornell, he is retiring effective November 30th. He's been with us just under 20 years.
Judge, I'd like to make that motion regrettably.
I'll second it regrettably.
Moved and seconded, we accept the resignation of Matt Cornell from Oldham County Police Department. Matt is Major Matt Cornell, working with us for 20 years. We certainly appreciate everything he's done, and I know we're going to have a little send-off. What is it, later this week, Chief, or next? Next Monday at 11:30. So all magistrates and staff members who'd like to wish Matt well are certainly invited to stop by. All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Time now for our second opportunity for any public comment here. If anybody's come in and would like to address the fiscal court, you're able to do so at this time. Seeing no one, we'll go on to our magistrates here and see if we have any final comments before we end today's meeting. Magistrate Logston. Should die.
Yes, Judge. Recently, one of my neighbors' 29-year-old son passed away, and he was in perfect health, and he got the flu. And from complications of the flu, when he first started getting it, 9 days later, he had passed away from the flu. In the obituary, his family had, said in condolences or such, no flyers, just get a flu shot. Now, I'm not telling people to go get a flu shot, but what gets me about it is he's a great young man. He had a twin brother, and it just goes to show you that you don't have to be an old guy or an old lady to die from the flu, which is normally young people and old people get. 29 years old, to die from the flu is a horrible thing. So get a flu shot if you think it might help you.
Thank you. Certainly good advice. Magistrate Hawkins.
Our local representative from Republic Services is here, so I just wanted to say hi and thanks for being here. And that's it.
Magistrate Hounds.
Yes, Judge, thank you. This past weekend, the Oldham County Youth Football League brought in 20 teams to have basically, for lack of a better term, a Super Bowl weekend. There were teams from all across the state of Kentucky, and I'm not sure how they did at the end, but I believe our teams were pretty much victorious. There were I think the representatives from 3 states, if I remember right, which is a pretty big deal, and kudos goes out to the Oldham County Youth Football League for putting that on and showcasing Oldham County. We had a cold snap last week, and with that cold snap, I can tell you we made a couple of runs with smoke detectors and mostly CO detectors. If you have a carbon monoxide detector in your home, check the date on it. If you flip it over to the back, it says, it may say expired or may say best until or whatever the case may be. But carbon monoxide detectors do have a shelf life, for lack of a better term. It's usually about 10 years from first time of activation. And if you don't know where to buy a carbon monoxide detector, you can buy one at Home Depot or Lowe's or any hardware store. But it is recommended that you buy a separate smoke detector from a CO detector, because it's difficult for us to tell which one of those detectors is bad if it's going off. It doesn't have a little alarm that says, I'm a smoke detector going off.
Magistrate Greenwell.
Thank you, Judge. I think we will have another meeting before Light Up LaGrange, but I just want to put that out there that you need to put that on your calendar. I know it's in December, and I think we have a meeting on the 3rd. So anyway, just Light Up LaGrange is coming to us here pretty soon, so put it on your calendar.
Magistrate Harrison.
Thank you, Judge. There are no military days between now and our next meeting on the 3rd, but it's leading up to the big one, which I always think must be observed, and that's Pearl Harbor Day on the 7th, which will be the Saturday of that week. I was a little bit disappointed this year not to hear more about Veterans Day or Veterans Day programs. I had several phone calls from people wanting to know where, when. I had no idea, because nobody has contacted us, and it's hard for us to make an announcement when we don't know when it is, where it is, and who's putting it on. We can assume it from previous years, but for many years we had a representative from the American Legion come to us sometime in the month preceding Veterans Day and give us the details, which we're glad to promote, but we need for that practice to resume. The 2020 census, you're going to hear me mention that every meeting that we have. I encourage all the magistrates to get more involved in this than what you have been. We have meetings every month with the Census 2020 people, and we can, with not a whole lot of effort, I believe, totally change the landscape of Oldham County by getting more people to participate, especially the parents showing the little kids, because the most unreported group is 5 and under. And why the parents don't report them, nobody really knows, but they are not counted sufficiently. And we're making a lot of effort to reach out to the Latino Hispanic community and make sure that those people are counted as well. Thank you.
Magistrate Tice.
Yes, in the I know we have accidents all the time throughout the county, but in the last couple of weeks, we've had children hit by cars, both fairly seriously. So, and it was not driver's fault, but even not being your fault, you need to be careful. These children are out there and they're not thinking. So please be extra careful all the time. Plus, we'll go through the holidays even more so. Thank you.
Could I piggyback on that?
Yes.
Briefly? It's come to my attention, we have 2 off-campus parking areas in Buckner. One is actively used, heavily used, and it's behind the Red Cross building, which is on the other side of 393 from the campus. And now we're having people park in the county parking lot at Wendell Park, down below animal control. I'm not sure what the school board policy is, but I have an abiding fear of an accident, not when, not if, but when, of kids going back and forth across 393 during rush hour. I think, in my opinion, the school campus should have adequate parking facilities on it. And that extends to 1793 and the Goshen campus as well. Thank you.
All right. Magistrate Likens.
Thank you, Judge. I'd like to take this opportunity to say I'm extremely proud to know the 2020 Oldham County and of the Year, who sits to my left, Mr. Wayne Tice. We attended a presentation of that. It was very nice. They gave his wife a co-award, which she probably deserved 90%. But it's one of our own fiscal court members is the 2020 Oldham County and of the Year, and I think that's a very prestigious award.
All right. Thank you.
Well, let me say one thing about that. I couldn't have done it by myself, number one, and thank you for bringing that up. And number two, I'm in good company with the people that have been co-winners, and that's in the ex-judge and Judge Murner and his wife. Help me. All of a sudden I've gone brain dead. Ann, thank you. Judge Murner and his wife. So thanks again.
Right, congratulations. That was last Thursday night. The Chamber of Commerce, the function each year, the Chamber awards Person of the Year award. This year it was a joint award with Wayne and Linda Tice. So congratulations on that, and thank you for all the effort that you have made over the years in helping our community be a great community. So we're happy about that. Tomorrow will be every day we have our officers out on the interstate. So far, I believe we've written, I had it here earlier, I think about 26 or 2,700 citations out on I-71 so far this year. I keep asking people to slow down. It's a little bit like trying to bail the ocean. People just keep speeding, but we're trying to raise the specter of enforcement in order to create safety. Tomorrow, there will be a stepped-up activity on I-71. Please observe the speed limit. You'll have no difficulties. If you exceed, you're going to be subject to being tagged. And we're trying to do as much as we can to create safety for your family, my family, all of us. And slowing people down on the interstate to a reasonable speed is just about the only thing we can do until we're widened out. So there will be stepped-up activity by police tomorrow on I-71. Thank you for being with us today. Is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. I'm not going to tell you what